Hi YouTube, please give me a moment while I connect to Facebook. We'll be getting started shortly. And I think we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody, welcome to the Strategic Swing Trader weekly broadcast. I am Sami, Director of Education at T3 Live. Hope you're doing well. Hope your weekend is going great. We're going to talk about the market. I'm going to share with you my swing ideas for the week. But before we start, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss in this video is for educational purposes only. If you're new to our channel, please be sure to download the free ebook. Link for that is in the description. If you have any questions, reach out to us, info@t3live.com. And if you find benefit in today's video, we'd appreciate it if you subscribe, hit the like button, comment, reach out in any way you want. Okay. Let's get started. So the market, those that argued with me that the market is bullish, that we bottomed, not gonna say anything, but I think I was early on. I said, you know, the market it bottomed. I did expect the market to maybe get to the 20 here and then come back in and then fail on the sell setup and go higher still, but it powered through it. So this is more than I expected, actually. More bullish than I expected, but I was, I think, one of the first people to turn bullish on the market. In fact, I bought the TQQ at the exact bottom, like within 1 minute of the open that day. So, you know, so I was bullish on the market from the beginning, but this is more than I expected, and I'm expecting a pullback this week. Okay, so for this week, starting tomorrow, I'm expecting a pullback. At what point do we expect a pullback? Once we take out the prior bar's low, especially if it's a narrow range bar. The only issue with the pullback is the hourly chart is just in a 45-degree uptrend, so we might pull back a little bit and then actually continue higher, because this kind of a trend is very hard to break. But still, I think we probably will be getting a pullback this week. That's what I'm expecting, so I'm gonna take it easy with the long ideas, with the long plays. That's the SPY. The IWM is showing relative weakness, considerable relative weakness, as it always does. The SPY and the Qs are like up here, or more like up here, and the IWM is into the declining 20 and is struggling to move up. So I don't know what's wrong with the IWM, but every time it tries to go higher, it fails. It tried to go higher over here and then right back down. So it looked really, really good. And yet that breakout to some extent failed. We're going back up. You see the breakout on the weekly? Sort of failed. We're going back up. You know, eventually maybe we'll be higher, but you know, IWM is not to be trusted. Okay, in terms of the swing ideas, here's what I got. I like the real estate. I really, really like real estate. That includes Zillow, of course. But look at the IYR. Here's the real estate ETF. Okay, I mean, that's a beautiful ETF chart. It looks higher. It looks higher. So AGNC is a real estate, I think, is it a mortgage REIT? I'm not really sure, but it's real estate related. And if you look at the monthly, it's been in a downtrend since 2021, maybe even before that, right? And it's starting to turn up a little bit. So I like it a lot. It does need to take out 1057, but if we wait for it to take out 1057, I think it'd be a pretty late entry. So my suggestion would be to do it off the weekly time frame as a weekly buy setup. So over 1020, stop under 950, I think. Yeah. So over 1020, stop under 953 as a weekly buy setup, but really it's a monthly transition A breakout on the AGNC, real estate stock. The Bumble, I like it. You know, I think the weakness is pretty considerable, but there's an hourly based breakout setting up over 610. It's actually 607. I'd put the entry at 611. Stop under 567. The green bar's low, 567. Target the declining 20 on the daily chart, that blue line. Okay, on the Bumble. Docs, really like it. I think it needs to base a little bit more, but love the monthly, which is broke the downtrend. I like the weekly, 1, 2, 3. Again, into a lot of resistance, so I think it may need another week or so before it's ready to go, but keep an eye on it. I like it a lot. If you think it's ready to go, there's a quick and easy entry right here, stop right here off the hourly time frame. So I use 4 time frames when it comes to swing trading: the hourly, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. And I can find entries off of those 4 time frames, but I don't use anything else. Okay? So those are the main time frames. I always like to have multiple time frame alignments, so I look at all 4 of them at the same time, and as long as the stock looks good and ready to go on all 4 of them, I just go for it normally. Okay? FIS, I talked about it in last week's video. It didn't really go anywhere, so I still like it higher. It looks really pretty. That's the weekly chart. That's the monthly. Looks really, really pretty. Slow mover. I don't know why it is, but it is a little slow. So here's the entry and the stop off the weekly time frame. Long, tight stop, and target, at least target 1 on the FIS. Like it a lot over last week's high. Stop, I would still stick with 75.47 as a stop, and the entry would be over 79.25. The FVRR, this one never works. I don't know. Looks really good on the monthly to break out. On the weekly, it may be a little early, but you know what? With these stocks that are down a lot and basing, once they pop, it'll be very hard to catch it if you're not in it already. So an idea would be to play it just over last week's high, which is 74.72. Stop can be wide, really wide if you want to hold it long term, or tighter, not very tight, but tighter if you want to hold it short term. But I would only play it if you intended to hold it long term, because it looks really good on the weekly and the monthly, not so much on the daily. Intel, just like I said, there's something wrong with the IWM. It never really works. This is one of those stocks that clearly there's something wrong with it. But if you think it might bounce for a week or two because of the weekly time frame, look at that weekly big drop, the reversal bar. It took it out already, so it triggered, but not too late, over 2110. Stop under, I would say the stop under this bar's low, which is 1947. You can also use a tighter stop, 1979. Okay, entry would be over 2106. OSCR also was on last week's video. I think it was in last week's video. It didn't go anywhere, continued to base. I still like it higher. I like it over this bar's high, stop under it, and target the prior high. At least target 2, I would say, is 35, the all-time high on the OSCR. PRTA is a daily 1, 2, 3, but it's up a lot, so I would like to get a couple more doji bars before playing it. But if you think it's ready, long and then stop under 750. The entry would be over Friday's high, whatever it is. Stop under 750. Race is an open position in the newsletter as a long-term play. Finally broke out on the weekly and the monthly, obviously. Been basing at the all-time high. Finally broke out. If you're not in it already, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. Long over the red bar, stop under it. It's not very good, but I do like the race higher long-term. TCOM is a China stock, like it higher long-term. We talked about BABA, I think, in last week's video. It's triggered already, so it's not going to be in this week's video because it's already triggered. But TCOM hasn't triggered yet, and the idea, it doesn't look good on the daily, right? You're right, it doesn't, but this is a downtrend, and now it's ending the downtrend on the daily. So over 43 long, stop under 40.70. But it's not the daily that I like so much. I don't like the daily. I would be using the daily as an entry into a monthly buy setup. See the monthly? Big rounded bottom, and then it pulled in from here, probably 58 all the way down to 38. So that's a decent pullback, and that's a nice monthly buy setup. So it just needs to take out 43. TWLO is like the FVRR. These two, for some reason, they don't seem to ever want to work. But when they do, I mean, I think they're going to explode. And I like the TWLO a little bit more than the FVRR for sure. Entry needs to be probably over 63.25. Stop under 57.68, 65. But it's a big stop if we wait for this bar's high to get taken out. So the alternative would be to do it just over here. Stop, really the stop should be here, or maybe under the moving average, under the trend line. So like right about here. Not an easy entry, and it's again, it's like the FVRR. Every time I try it, it doesn't follow through. So I don't know. We'll see. Here's the short ideas. I got ARRY, super weak. Consider how strong the market is and how weak ARRY stayed. So it should be lower under the last two bars, stop above the base. The only issue with it, and this is the main issue for me, is the monthly support is not too far below at 545. So that's the biggest problem. The same, I think, with the ATNM, but ATNM actually is at all-time low, but on the daily, it has a beautiful hourly breakdown, right? On the hourly chart and the daily has a breakdown, stop, and then where's the target? Is that the target? If that's it, then it's not enough R to R. If you think it's lower much further, past this bar's low, which is 133, then I think it's a lovely pattern. Again, considering that the market might be starting a pullback soon, if not tomorrow. So under the base, stop above it. The same with the ARRY. Under the base, stop above it. And then FTRE is different, is a daily sell setup. It's a bigger stop. That's actually the bad thing about it, is that it's not a very tight stop. So entry, I would say, under this bar's low, 22, stop over 23.78, and then target maybe $18. Maybe it gets all the way down to the lows. The SYRS, I don't think is quite ready yet, but actually it looks, it's ready. If you like it enough, it's ready to go. Under 148, stop over 170, and then the trip is not quite ready because it's not basing at the lows anymore. It popped. So it needs to come back in and base and then lower. Trip is also at all-time low. But again, I don't think it's ready. There's one more on my list that's not here, that's not in this watch list, but is in the description, in the video description. It's the SYM. Stayed very weak, but as you can see, look at the 20 MA on the hourly chart. It's pointing up. We want, before we short, we want price to be below the 20, and we want the 20 to be pointing down, not up. So that's why it didn't make the cut, because it's not quite ready. But I like the fact that it wasn't able to bounce at all while the market skyrocketed. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you have, be sure to hit the like button. If you want to find out more about what I do, links in the description. I wish you the best of luck with your trading next week, and I will catch you on the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.